opening remarks maybe. Buongiorno tutti. As it was said by Sindaco Marco Bucci, I should speak Italian, understand, with respect to the hosts and to Genoa, to all the friends. Illustro Sindaco Marco Bucci, caro Presidente Paolo Emilio Signorini, caro Ammiraglio Giovanni Pettorini, signori e signore. Now my Italian will finish here at this point. And every time I come here, this is my second time as a European coordinator, I'm learning more and more Italian, so next time I will be more fluent. But again, I'm very happy to be in the southern part of the Rhine-Alpine Corridor. As you know, the most important corridor in Europe, which in the catchment area has around 19% of the European GDP. So this is really huge. That shows the potential for development of the corridor, starting whether you take it from Rotterdam and Antwerp or maybe from Genoa. That's very important. And I think that the potential depends on the topic of today's conference, the ports, the intermodality, the logistics. It's all in details. It's not only about the infrastructure, but the corridor always, you can say, is as strong as its weakest point is. So if we have eliminated the weak points and built efficient infrastructure, remove the bottlenecks, and put efficient operations, then exactly what we have is to reach the potential. We have the higher potential. And lately, in the corridor, maybe you've heard about the Rastatt disruption. And some people say that's a problem. I just gave an interview, that's a problem. Well, the problem is that the third and fourth track between Karlsruhe and Basel wasn't built on time. And that, of course, caused disruption. And then you had to reroute the trains, and contingency plans were built on the national basis. You could not see the framework or more European framework. So if you reroute the trains to some other place, you have a national contingency plan, which not account that in some other country there would be construction at the same time. So even more disruption. So that gives you the idea of so-called the European value added. You have to be efficient all along and look at all the weakest points and put a lot of attention to cross-border sections and to hinterland connection. That was my dear friend Paolo Signorini has emphasized that we had to include in the work plan the Terzo Valico, the Giovi, as a fundamental for development of the corridor, because in addition to increasing the potential for the corridor, also causes the modal shift from road to rail. In your interview that you gave a couple of days ago, I've read with great attention, you've mentioned maybe from 15 to maybe 30% would be a rail share in the corridor, thanks to this development. So again, you are here we're talking about the new name, and I understand the Southern European Gateway. And in May, during the One Belt and Road Forum in May, your Prime Minister also emphasized not only the gateway for the commodities, but also as a gateway for maybe new investments from China. That is another global view that I admire, that was the Syndico has emphasized. We have to think globally to take advantage of the potential this you have to think global. That's enough to discuss. That would be very important to discuss during the conference. But at the same time, we have to see some of the things that happen in the corridor, so-called the issue of rebalancing, the flows. When I travel and I discuss with different terminals, and I ask them how much of the flows goes from north to south, and how much goes from south to north, I hear that there is still a great imbalance. Maybe full trains will go from southbound, but the opposite direction, maybe 1 in 4 trains will be full. So the question is, how could you think about rebalancing those flows? That's very important. So there's 2 points. First is building new infrastructure, but at the same time, as much important is, of course, to improve operations, to improve efficiency. The port reform that was introduced lately with first president of the ports of Genoa, Signor Paolo Emilio Signorini, that's a type of thing that we need, a consolidation to seize the economies of scale and to, at the same time, streamline the management, to make efficient operations and reach the higher level of capacity. That's all about, and that gives a right and prosperous prospects for the ports, but at the same time to development for employment in, for example, in the logistical sector. That's very important for the community. I'm also looking, I will not talk about the finances because my professor, Carlo Secchi, the European coordinator as well, will probably discuss his paper on the financing issues and how to use properly financing, because there is a lot of pockets of money that are available and could be reached. Well, when I look at the second aspect, not just infrastructure, investments, but then operations, we need to think about what is how does it fit with the general, I would say, European vision. In your papers, you have a new thing, which is completely new joint declaration of the European coordinator in your package. That just was approved. This paper was approved by, acknowledged by the Council in Tallinn, informal Council. Let me read this one sentence. As European coordinators, we are attracted by scenario of a more efficient and more integrated Europe, building on internal market, creating value for the economy, connecting Europe, connecting European citizens. Transport priorities can deliver quickly and efficiently with a high European value added that will last. What it says, what it means that we have to have a vision on one side. And so important is to look at the new vision that will be developed before Brexit, I would say. This is very important. And the second point is how to reflect on that vision and do it the same way locally. How to integrate the ports, how to integrate the management, how to work with the stakeholders, how to make a change. And that's a key aspect, not only of the vision, European vision, but of every community such as Genoa. So I wish you success on that. Good luck. And let me just conclude that there's 2 issues. The hard investments, which are very much needed, and it's always the issue of financing that comes in, the scarce financing. 97% of CEF funds were already allocated into financial perspective. That's a measure of success, but at the same time, that means that there's no money is more available by 2020. So we have to look for new capacity, new funding capacity, and new financing schemes and operation. And this is here, goes down to the nitty-gritty issues of building the right environment, right business, development aspects, streamlining the management, making decision. And that's, I wish you a lot of successful, and I'm glad to be invited for this conference. Thank you very much.